and welcome to this edition of Abbey Research Reads. I am Dr. Kristen, and I am here today with a review of the book, The Woman Who Fooled the World, Belle Gibson's Cancer Con and the Darkness at the Heart of the Wellness Industry. It's by Beau Donelly and Nick Toscano, both Sydney journalists who followed the Belle Gibson story from the beginning. I think that if Belle were here, she'd tell you that she was the world's first wellness influencer. She did an app called The Whole Pantry that became like the first major selling wellness app on iTunes, to the extent where she was like actually flown from Australia to America, to Cupertino, to meet with Apple in person. Really big deal. But what really shot her to fame is that she was doing all of that supposedly while having a really rare form of brain cancer. She raised money for people and charities on the guise that it would go to those charities, and they really never did. But the to me, the most insidious thing is that she rose to fame for having cancer, which she literally never had. And over again, as journalists would finally confront her and the walls finally came tumbling down, my actual major concern is that I don't think that she thinks that's a problem. For whatever reason, Belle, and then we spend a little bit of time with her family in the book. They appear to have a very loose grip with reality and a very loose connection to understanding kind of how the world works for the rest of us. It's not a particularly, So, I struggled with how to talk about this one because I love schadenfreude stories. I mean, I love the downfall of Theranos. In a way, like, I just love these people getting their comeuppance. Folks who have harmed hundreds, if not millions, of people with their hubris getting that comeuppance. And that's definitely what Belle got. Like, she was internationally shamed. Her career was destroyed. Her reputation was destroyed. But unlike, WeWork, for instance, and Adam Newman in particular, like, this was, and Theranos scares the absolute living dickens out of me because Elizabeth Holmes forgot that she was dealing with actual people, which we've talked about extensively in our coverage of the show The Dropout on our sister channel, Abbey Research. But, like, this just feels, because people with cancer are desperate for any solution that, can help them. Belle claims that she healed herself with the food from her app, the menus from her app. She claims that she never needed chemo. And every doctor that understands brain cancer is really quick to say, like, no, that doesn't happen. But when you are handed a cancer diagnosis, your hope that you could be the one that proves them wrong, your hope that you could be the miracle, is so strong that shysters and con artists like Belle Gibson just need to show up and offer you a lifeline, and you may take it. The other thing we need to call out in terms of the toxic wellness industry is that Belle Gibson was a very pretty, thin, blonde Australian woman who knew how to garner sympathy really well. And in the same way that now we're seeing, this was in 2015 is when she kind of fell from grace. Her rise began in 2012. We're sitting here in 2022 and toxic wellness is still out there. We often joke about it that it's goop and that, Gwyneth Paltrow is the number one perpetrator of this. But honestly, the number one perpetrator is all of the Instagram influencers selling things like flat tummy tea. All of us want a miracle cure for our bodies because our bodies are so hard for us to understand. We're taught, especially in the West, from birth to disconnect ourselves from our bodies, to view our bodies as an enemy, to view it as something to control. And because of that, many times we'll take any hope that we have that it can be more controllable. But the problem is our body isn't actually the enemy. Our body is us. And what we need to do is learn how to live in cohesion with our physical self and our spiritual self and our emotional self and all of those things. We have to be an integrated person. And toxic wellness wants nothing to do with that. The wellness culture that Belle Gibson and some of the others really, really perpetrate doesn't actually want you to have a good relationship with your body, because then they can't make money off of you. I first heard about this case on the incredible podcast Maintenance Phase, where Aubrey Gordon went through this case with absolute hilarity, and I'll make sure that the link to that is below. I definitely recommend this book, but I'll be honest, I recommend the podcast more, because the podcast is so conversational. It's easy to kind of understand. And because it has, it came out this year, so it's got 7 years on this book almost, or 5 years on this book. Aubrey's able to draw some of more connections to how toxic wellness culture has evolved since Belle Gibson, and kind of the updated bit of it. I got this book off Australian Amazon, believe it or not, because I couldn't find it in the US, but I'm really glad I had it, and now I'm going to be passing it on to editor Eleanor, who also loves schadenfreude books as much as I do. The story of Belle Gibson is a cautionary tale, just like every single story of a con artist is a cautionary tale. Please remember that if somebody is offering you 3 quick steps to anything, they're probably selling something, very literally. And that as terrible as cancer is, all we've got so far is chemo. That sounds atrocious, but truly, curing your cancer by eating the right kinds of broccoli is just not going to happen. And perpetuating the myth that it's going to only leads to more heartache. However, if you read this book or you know about Belle Gibson and you want to talk to me about her downfall, I can't lie, a little bit of schadenfreude there, which is perverse happiness at the pain of others. Thank you, Avenue Q. And I don't know what she's up to now. I didn't bother Googling her. I believe she's still just a human in the world existing. I know at one point she tried to stage a comeback and the internet was like, oh, hell no. But beyond that, I don't know what she's up to. So links to Aubrey Gordon's edition of Maintenance Phase will be below. Obviously, links to the book, if I can find the link that I used or another link, will all be in the downstairs. I hope that you enjoyed my conversation about Belle Gibson. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of our coverage. As I mentioned, we've talked extensively about Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, but also WeWork and Nexium a little bit as well over on our main channel, and the idea of how much a lot of us really, truly relish in the comeuppance of terrible people. Anyway, whether I see you in the next video on this channel or over there on that channel and that content, I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye, everybody.